Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityaṁ Bhagavata-sevayā Bhagavati Uttama-shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Durlabhamanusho Deho Dehinam Shana Bhangure Tatrapi Durlabham Manye Vaikuntha Priya Darshinaha Gurve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalai Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Śrī Caitanya Ishvaram Hare Kṛṣṇa Hare Kṛṣṇa Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear worshipable devotees, thank you so much for taking out your valuable time to read here Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. So we were discussing the wonderful lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the 19 symbols, 11 on the right feet and the 8 on the left feet. So we discussed all of those in great detail. And how we got connected over there was from the 14 in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 23, text 131. There is mention of some great personalities in the Yadukula who had these 14 great jewels. That's the connection. And we also discuss about those. That one of them is the regulative principles. So the regulation makes one great. So we'll continue from the next verse, which is text number 32 from this canto 9.23. Tasya patni sahasranam dashanam sumaha yashaha Dashalaksha sahasrani putranam tasva ajichanat. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. The famous Shasha Bindu had 10,000 wives, and by each he got 1,00,000 of sons. Thereafter, the number of his sons was 10,000 lakh. Hare Kṛṣṇa. So those 14 qualities in the previous verse, if we go, were about Shasha Bindu, the greatly fortunate. And he was in the dynasty of Yadu, basically. From the Kṛṣṇa. Yadus has one of the sons named Kṛṣṇa, and his dynasty continued, and Shasha Bindu was from his dynasty. So 10,000 wives, and each had 1,00,000 of sons. So that's certainly no joke. So having 10,000 lakhs, 10,000 wives, and each having 1,00,000 sons. So basically, how many is that? It's like 1 million, 1 trillion actually. 1 trillion sons based on the international system. Anyways, we'll move on to the next verse. Yes, Vipul Prabhu, you want to read?
Sure, Guruji. Hare Krishna devotees, Dhanvat Pranam, all goes to Srila Prabhupada. Text 33. Tesham tu sat pradhananam prithushavasya atmaja dharma namoshana tasya hayamadha shatasya yat. Translation by His Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada with joy. Among these many sons, 6 were the foremost, such as Prithushara and Prithukirti. The son of Prithushara was known as Dharma, and his son was known as Ushana. And Ushana was the performer of 100 horse sacrifice. So among these 10,000 100 sons of Shashabindu, here mention about 6 of the foremost, but in this verse 2, Prithushara and Prithukirti. And from the Prithushara came Dharma, and from Dharma came Ushana. And Ushana was the performer of 100 horse sacrifice. Back to Guruji.
Thank you, Prabhu. So 1 billion sons. Okay, text 34. Vasati Mataji, you want to read?
Dhanyavad Pranam Prabhuji, Dhanyavad Pranam everyone, or Lust Srila Prabhupada. Text 34. Tatsuta ruchakastasya panchasan atmajaha shrinu purujit rukma rukmeshu prithu jayamagha samjnitaha. Translation by His Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Prabhupada ki jai. The son of Ushana was Ruchaka, who had 5 sons, Purujit, Rukma, Rukmeshu, Prithu, and Jayamagha. Please hear of these sons from me. Back to you, Prabhuji. Hare Kṛṣṇa.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. Okay. The word Shrinu, Atmaja Shrinu, that's Shrinu. So Ushana was the main amongst the 1 billion. No, not the 1 billion. The further descendants. He did 100 horse sacrifice, and this verse tells about the further his descendants. Let's see what happens further. 35, 36. Anyone? Raghu Prabhu, you want to read?
Yes, I can read. Hare Krishna devotees. Jayamagga tvi aprajopi anya bharayam sayabhya patir bhayat navinta chatru bhavanad bhojyam kanyam ahar shitrit ratasnutram nirikshayaha sayabhya patim amrisita kayam kuhaka matstanam ratam aropiteti vai snusha taveti abhihite smayanti patim abhravat. Translation by His Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Jayamaga had no sons, but because he was fearful of his wife, Saibhya, he could not accept another wife. Jayamaga once took from the house of some royal enemy a girl who was a prostitute, but upon seeing her, Saibhya was very angry and said to her husband, My husband, you cheater, who is this girl sitting upon my seat on a chariot? Jayamaga then replied, this girl will be your daughter-in-law. Upon hearing these joking words, Saibya smilingly replied. Thank you, Prabhu. Back to you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, quite straightforward here. Jaya Magha. Jayamagha. So, looks like he had only one wife. On the other, where we see that other kings had maybe 100,000 wives or multiple wives. In that time, it was quite common, kings having multiple wives, and was quite acceptable as well. So, but they didn't have children, and for the king to continue the dynasty is quite an important service. So, quite straightforward. Let's see what his wife Shebya spoke when she saw this girl, and Jayamaga replied that she'll be the daughter-in-law. Let's see, text 37. And then Mataji, you want to read?
Yes, Prabhu. Dandat Pranam devotees. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Text 37. Aham bandhya sapatni cha snusha me yujyate katham janaishya sira yam ragi tasya yamyu payujyate. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shabya said, I am sterile and have no co-wife. How can this girl be my daughter-in-law? Please tell me. Jamaka replied, my dear queen, I shall see that you indeed have a son, and this girl will be your daughter-in-law. So we are trying, here's a practical question that Shabya, the wife, cannot have a child. So in the same fashion as Mother Anusuya asked Yamraj, when he said Putravati Bhava, we will see this mystery also unfold. How can she have a child when she cannot, how can she have a daughter-in-law when she cannot have a son? Back to you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Okay, text 38, which is the last of this chapter. Akshay, you want to read?
Yes, Prabhuji. Text 38. Anvamodantad vishve deva pitara evacha saibhya garbham adhat khale kumaram susuve subham kar vidarbha iti prokta upayeme snusham satyam. Translation and purport. Long ago, Jamaga had satisfied the demigods and Pitas by worshipping them. Now, by their mercy, Jamaga's words came true. Although Saibhya was barren, by the grace of the demigods, she became pregnant and in due course of time gave birth to a child named Vidarbha. Before the child's birth, the girl had been accepted as a daughter-in-law, and therefore Vidarbha actually married her when he grew up. Purport thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 9th Canto, 23rd chapter of the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, entitled The Dynasties of the Sons of Yayati. Hare Kṛṣṇa, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Lakshay Prabhu. So, we saw this in the case of Mata Kunti, how she was blessed by the demigods. Or she had this bone that she could call the demigods and get the children. Similarly, Jayamaga had some similar connection. He had satisfied the demigods and the pittas, and as a result, his wife, who did not have children, could have children, and the child was Vidarbha, and the girl became the daughter-in-law, as discussed in the previous verse. So that's chapter 23, the second last chapter of the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam in Canto number 9. The last chapter is entitled Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Very interesting. So, just to do a quick recap of this chapter, chapter number 23, here we talk about the descendants of the other children of Yayati. Yayati had 5 children. In the previous chapter, we discussed about his descendants from Puru. But in this one, we discuss about Yayati's other children, the 4th son, the 3rd, and the 2nd son. So we discussed Anu's lineage, and then Rompad Maharaj was there, a prominent one. Then descendants of Rompad Maharaj, Adhiratha, Karna's story we discussed in detail. Then the other 2 sons of Yayati, namely Dhuryu and Turvasu. And then finally, very, very important verse. Anyone remembers? Varnayami Mahapunyam Sarva Papam Haram Nrinam. What's that? Yadu Vamsha Naram Shrutva Sarva Papai Pramuchyate. Anyone who hears about the Yadu Vamsha will be free from all the papas, all the sins. And this is Mahapunya. Why? Because Yatra Avatirna Bhagavan Paramatma Narakritihi. There the Supreme Lord appeared as the human-like form. Narakritihi Yatra Avatirna. So text number 19 and 20, first line of 20th verse. Then the famous Yadu dynasty is described from different children. The words Krishnaya, Yadavaya, Madhavaya, Vrishnivamsha, Yadu, Yadava, they all come from these words. Yadu, Madhu, who was also one of the kings in the Yadu dynasty, and then Vrishni. So, and then we also discuss about Kartavirya Arjuna, who was also one of the kings in the Yadu dynasty. And this question was brought up that how can such a noble dynasty have such a king which was irreligious and destroyed by Parshuram? Although he had a lot of power, a lot of mystic power, a lot of different abilities, but those abilities, when used for a wrong purpose or adharma, Krishna and his representatives will certainly destroy that. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srajami aham. Krishna says that in which verse is that? Of Bhagavad Gita? Anyone remembers?
4.6.
4.6.
6. 4.6.
7 is Yada Yada Dharmasya. Oh no, maybe 4.7, 4.8.
Yeah. Yes, I think it's 7, 8, and 9. 1, 3, 5. So 7, 8 is Paritrana, and 9 is Janma Karma Chanayatya. 7, 8, 9. And then finally, we discuss about this special, unique story about Jamaga today. So, yeah, these are the quick synopsis of chapter 23. And not to forget, we also discussed the symbols on Krishna's lotus feet in great detail in 1.5 sessions we spent on that. The 11 on the right foot and the 8 on the left foot. So I encourage that if we share it with someone, a friend, neighbor, husband, wife, children, anyone, everyone, we will certainly remember it much, much better. And discuss that what those symbols also mean. We discuss them. Okay, any other comments? Anyone has any additions on this chapter? Anything you like? Anything you want to ask, tell?
So, Prabhuji, these symbols we see in the Krishna's feet, Radharani's feet, and Gauranga Mahaprabhu's feet. Any other personalities had the same similar type of symbols?
Yeah, so practically all the incarnation Lord Ram certainly, and one of the characteristic of Supreme Lord is that they have these symbols. So yes, and these symbols are different also. It's not that Radharani has the same symbols. Some of them are different a little bit. There are a lot of common, but yes, there is some. So the answer in short is yes. And one devotee was explaining that if someone says, hey, I am God, okay, can you show me your lotus feet and let me check these wonderful symbols? So the short answer is yes. Abraham certainly, and others as well. The Vishnu was. Any additions here? Does that help?
Yeah, sure, Prabhuji, because everywhere or somewhere we saw the symbols of these three personalities. So just curious. Like Lord Balaram, we didn't see that in symbols mentioned anywhere. Though my knowledge is limited, just asking you, maybe your Mataji or Sudhir Prabhuji, other devotees might be knowing. Same as Nityaṁ Prabhu's, any symbols in mention or not?
Nityananda Prabhu has symbols, Prabhu. You
Yeah.
can look up in the internet. Okay, you can see that.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Any other comments or additions here? Okay, so we will begin chapter 24, entitled Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Let's start with a quick summary. Would someone like to read this in the chat? Read the summary, maybe the first big paragraph. Yes, Sudhir Prabhu, and then someone else can read after the first paragraph.
Thank you. Hare Kṛṣṇa devotees, Dandat Pranam, all praise to Śrī Prabhupada. Text number, chapter 24. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vidarbha had 3 sons named Kusha, Krata, and Rompada. Of these 3, Rompada expanded his dynasty by the sons and grandsons named Babru, Kriti, Usika, Chedi, and Chedya. all of whom later became kings. From the son of Vidarbha named Krata came a son named Kunti, from whose dynasty came the descendants named Vrishni, Nirvriti, Dashara, Vyoma, Jimuta, Vikriti, Bhimrata, Navrata, Dasharata, Shakuni, Karambhi, Devarata, Devakshatra, Madhu, Kuruvasu, Anu, Purohotra, Ayu, and Satvata. Satvata had 7 sons. One of them was Devavrata, whose son was Bhabru. Another son of Satvata was Mahabhoja, by whom the Bhoja dynasty was inaugurated. Another was Vrishni, who had a son named Yudjita, and from Yudjita came Anamitra and Sini, and from Anamitra came Nigana and another Shrini. The descendants in the succession of the Sini were Satyaka, Yudhana, Jaya, Kuni, and Yugadhara. Another son of Animitra was Vrishni. From Vrishni came Swapalaka, by whom Akrura and 12 other sons were generated. From Akrura came 2 sons named Devavan and Upadeva. The son of Andaka named Kukura was the origin of the descendants known as Vahni. Viloma, Kapotaroma, Anu, Antaka, Dunvavi, Bhuvi, Avidyota, Punarvasu, and Ahuka. Ahuka had 2 sons named Devaka and Ugrasena. The 4 sons of Devaka were known as Devavan, Upadeva, Sudeva, and Devavardhana. And his 7 daughters were Dhritadeva, Santideva, Upadeva, Srideva, Deva Rakshita, Sahadeva, and Devaki. Vasudeva married all 7 daughters of Devaka. Ugrasena had 9 sons named Kamsa, Sunama, Nyagrodha, Kanaka, Sanku, Sahu, Rashtrapala, Drishti, and Tushtiman. And he had 5 daughters named Kamsa, Kamsavati, Kanaka, Surabu, and Rastrapalika. The younger brothers of Vasudeva married all the daughters of Ugrasena. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, you want me to continue or somebody else?
Let's see if someone else wants to read. Canto, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I can.
Yes, please.
Viduratha, the son of Chitraratha, had son named Sura, who had 10 other sons, of whom Vasudeva was the chief. Sura gave one of his 5 daughters, Pratha, to his friend Kunti, and therefore she was also named Kunti. In her maiden state, she gave birth to a child named Karna, and later she married Maharaja Pandu. Vridhasarma married the daughter of Sura named Sudeva, from whose womb Dantavakra was born. Trataketu married Sura's daughter named Surakriti, who had 5 sons. Jayasena married Sura's daughter named Radhi Devi, the king of Chadidesa. Damagosha married the daughter of Sura named Sutrasrava, from whom Sisupal was born. Devavaga, through the womb of Kamsa, begot Chitraketu and Vadrabala, and Devarava, through the womb of Kamsavati, begot Suvira and Suman. From Kanka, through the womb of Kanka, Kimbaka, Satyajit and Purujit, and from Sarnjaya, through the womb of Rastrapalika, came Varsha and Durmasana. Syamaka, through the womb of Suravumi, begot Harikesha and Hiranyaksha. Vatsaka, through the womb of Misra Kesi, begot Vikra, who begot the sons named Taksha, Puskara, and Sala. From Samika and Sumitra and Arjuna Pala, and from Anaka came Ratadhama and Jaya. Vasudeva had many wives, of whom Devaki and Rohini were the most important. From the womb of Rohini, Valdeva was born, along with Gada, Sarana, Durma, Vipula, Dhurva, Krata, and others. Vasudeva had many other sons by his other wives, and the 8th son to appear from the womb of Devaki was the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who delivered the entire world from the burden of demons. The chapter ends by glorifying Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva. Hare Kṛṣṇa, Prabhuji, back to you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Punamataji, for reading this nice summary. So this is the last chapter of Canto 9, chapter 24, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Canto 10 will mark the crest jewel, the face of the Supreme Lord, where so many wonderful leelas of Krishna are mentioned, and that's in 4 volumes. It's the highest or the most number of chapters and verses. So pretty much out of the entire 18 volumes, we can imagine like 4 of those are Canto 10. So about 25%, approximately 20-25% of the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is Canto 10 only, just to give some. So here we are kind of with all the dynasties, all the Manus, all the past historical kings and Raj Rishis we are discussing, is to bring us to Krishna. That's the goal. And that's what Shukdev Goswami is doing, sharing about the Sun Dynasty, the Moon Dynasty, and the Moon Dynasty, these different kings. Finally, son of Vasudeva and Devaki, Supreme Lord Krishna. So here the connection is also nicely mentioned, that Devaki was the daughter of Devaka, and the brother was the uncle's brother. So uncle was Ugrasena. So Ugrasena and Devaka were brothers, as we just read here. They were the 2 children of Ahuka. So this question we may have, that how were they brothers? They were not just sons or the daughter, like brothers of the same father, but they were like in India they say chacha ka beta, chacha ki beti, whatever. So cousin, first cousin, Devaki and Kamsa. Okay, we'll read maybe a few verses and then we'll pause for today. Let's see, the first verse is, Prabhu, you want to read?
Sure, Prabhuji. Hare Kṛṣṇa. Next one. Shri Sukha Vacha Tasyam Vidharpo Jayan Janayat Putrau Naman Kushakarthau Tritayam Romapadam Cha Vidarbha Kulanandanam. Translation by Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada ki Jai. Shukadeva Goswami said, by the womb of the girl brought by his father, Vidarbha begot 3 sons named Kusha, Karta and Romapada. Romapada was the favorite in the dynasty of Vidarbha.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. So quite straightforward. Vidarbha was the son of the king here, Jayamaga, which we just read in the last, so that's where it continues from. Where we paused. Okay, the son was Romapada. Let's see. Text 2, Swati Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Dhammad Pranam. Text 2. Romapada Suto Babrur Kirtir Ajayata Ushikas Tatsutas Tasnat Chedis Chaitya Dayo Nripaha. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. The son of Romapada was Babru, from whom there came a son named Kriti. The son of Kriti was Ushika, and the son of Ushika was Cheri. From Cheri was born the king known as Chaitya and others. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. This Chaitya is often read that word. Chedi Raj. Chedi is the dynasty Chedi. Or Chaityas. This comes multiple times in the Mahabharata, Krishna book. So that's a connection here. Romapada's descendants. So let's see what happens further. Text 3, 4. Anyone wants to read? Hasn't yet read. Veer Prabhu, want to read?
Yes, Hare Kṛṣṇa Prabhu, Hare Kṛṣṇa devotees, Dandavat Pranam, Jai Śrīla Prabhupada. Krathasya Kunti Putra Abhud Vrishnistashyatha Nirbriti Tato Dashara Namnabhut Tasya Bhyama Shutas-tatha Jimyuta Vikritistasya Jasya Bhima Arthatha Sutta Tato Navaratha Putra Jato Dasharathas-tatha. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Translation. The son of Kratha was Kunti. The son of Kunti, Vrishni. The son of Vrishni, Nibriti. And the son of Nibriti, Dashara. From Dashara came Bhoma. From Bhoma came Jimuta. From Jimuta, Bikriti. From Bikriti, Bhimartha. Bhimaratha. From Bhimaratha, Nabaratha, and from Nabaratha, Dasharatha. Hare Krishna, Prabhu, back to you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. I'm just trying to identify the connection. Kritha was, where did this word Kritha come from? Oh, okay, it's in text number 1.
Yeah.
Sorry?
I was just saying text number 1 has it.
Yes. So basically the different sons of Vidarbha was, one was Romapada, one was Kusha and Kritha. So in text number 2 we discussed about Romapadas, text number 3 to 7 about Kritha, and then we will also discuss about later I believe about Kusha. Okay. Any other comments? Okay, one more words. We can read text 5. Sweet, go to read.
Sure, Prabhuji. Karambi sakune putro devaratastad atmaja devakastatastasya madhu kurvasat anu. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada teacher. From Dasharatha came a son named Sakuni, and from Sakuni a son named Karabhi. The son of Karabhi was Devaratha, and his son was Devaksatra. The son of Devaksatra was Madhu, and his son was Kuruvasu, from whom there came a son named Anu. Thank you, Prabhuji. Back to you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So I know there are a lot of names here which is hard to remember. If you want to link what's going on, but well, these are the great Yaduvamsha. They're all Yadus. So where Krishna personally appeared in this family. Imagine the glorious kings, saintly personalities in this Vamsha where the Lord personally chose to take birth or appear. Certainly very glorious. So, any other comments before we pause for today? Anyone wants to say anything? Text 6 later, tomorrow I mean. Okay, so we'll pause here and continue tomorrow from text number 6. And we gradually reach to Krishna's appearance. Antya Śrīmad Bhāgavatam Purana ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Śrī Caitanya-caritāmṛta ki jai, Śrī Srimad ki jai. Jai Godhead. Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.